Hello, this is Mark Richmond from Chef Knives to Go, and today we're going to continue working with our Edge Pro and show you how to set up the unit. When you get the unit out of the box, there's basically two parts to it. There's the base and there's the control arm. And the way to put this together is you flip out the legs. You stick it to a smooth surface. I have plexiglass on top of my cutting board here, but a countertop works great, and that's what I usually use. Just put a couple drops of water on this just so it'll stick. You don't want to put too much on there or else it'll slide around. And then you put the control arm in, and there's a vertical arm and a horizontal one. You want to put the vertical arm in to the hole on the base unit and then screw it tight. A couple things. You can get this reversed, upside down, backwards. I've done all of those things, and recently. I don't know if you can see this, but there are a number of marks. One's black, one's red, green, yellow, and blue. And these all have different angles associated with them. So the red one, for instance, is 15 degrees, and then it goes higher from there up to the blue one, which is 24, which I don't usually ever use, and the black one at the bottom one is 10 degrees. So when you put this in, just make sure that you can see the marks, you know they're there. Screw this tight and then set it to the angle that you want to sharpen at. It will sharpen at all of these different angles, and it doesn't matter that much what angle you use, except for the fact that some steel, softer steeled knives like German knives, tend to lose their edge more quickly. They don't take an edge that is quite as acute. So you're going to want to move up the scale when you're using a softer knife. Harder Japanese knives will take a steeper edge. The lower you go, the more acute the edge will be. And by acute, I mean like that, instead of wider like that. And the good side about that is that it's more sharp. As you get the knife more and more steep, the edge more and more steep, you're going to run into the edge failing more, and you'll have to sharpen it more to keep that edge. But you can play around with that, and that's one of the nice things about the machine is you can set it at an angle, see if it works well. If you run into trouble, you can bump it up and try again. To load this stone, we already talked about flattening the Chaucera stones, and this is not a Chaucera stone. This is a Edge Pro stone, the 320 grit. All you do is you lay the stone in and you tighten it with this knob here. You don't want to over tighten it. If you really crank on it, you can actually bow this stone. It's not a good thing. And so that's how it's set up. And then the final thing is there's a adjustable holder here that you put the spine of your knife against, and you can move that up or down depending on how tall your knife is. So, and then you can screw it into position. So usually when I set up my Edge Pro, I will adjust it for the knife real quick. You can see that this is way too far down, so I'm just going to move this up so that it overhangs the table here, because we're going to sharpen right along here, and you have to clear this table. And then the other thing you need to do is you need to make sure that the table is adjusted far enough up so that when you start to curve around it to get the tip, that you're actually going to have enough clearance to sharpen on there and not hit the table. This is still a little too low, so I'll just move it up just a little more. And that's it. So the motion when you sharpen is you'll be doing this. And you'll be running this up and down, and you'll be sliding the knife along, and I have it set up pretty well for this particular knife. So that's all you have to do to get the sharpener ready. You can see there's blue tape on here. This is painter's tape, and Ben puts this on here so that when you're using the sharpener, you lower the chance of scratching the blade. But my experience is that the swarf from the stone will get on the knife, and even if you're diligent, it'll contact this and you'll start scratching your knife. So if you're concerned about that, you can put painter's tape right on your knife as well. And between stones, and even between when you flip the knife, it's a good idea to take a towel and wipe that off before you flip the knife, and that'll cut down on a lot of the scratching. I don't really care about scratching my knives. My kitchen knives I beat up anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. So that's the Edge Pro and how to set it up. Next one we'll sharpen a knife. I'm Mark Richmond. Stay sharp.